And on the, the subject of stop and frisk and other, Fourth Amendment violations, there are some serious concerns around people who are found in the area of a ShotSpotter alert being subject to an illegal search. And there is, there's one particular case in which the city that I learned about recently, where a city was sued, and there's now case law on that not being allowable. I'm sure that you're also aware of the recent study in Chicago that showed very little efficacy from ShotSpotter technology. So yeah, I just think it's really important for us to have some kind of reality-based metrics that are in order to determine whether public funding is, whether this is whether it's an effective use of public funding.
If a gun goes off in your neighborhood, if a human being picks up a phone and calls, the police are going to show up. If a sensor tells the police that a gun went off, the police are going to show up. So whatever happens after police show up in response to gunfire is a debate and consideration that we've been having. And I want to be very clear that part of what's fascinating me about this whole debate is this notion that there's something different about sending help based upon an electronic sensor or a human being picking up the phone and saying, I heard gunfire. I will never, ever, ever support stop and frisk in Durham. Let me go on record now. I will never, ever support surges or SWAT teams roving through our neighborhoods and just randomly stopping black folk. What I will support are the number, perhaps thousands of conversations over the years I've had from folk in our neighborhoods who don't organize, they don't have email lists, they don't have a lot of money, but they've said, can we try it?
His name was Reginald Boynes. He was in the 8th grade. And he couldn't afford the field trip that I took him on, that I took the students at Shepherd Middle School on. And I couldn't afford as a teacher at the time either. While we were on that field trip with the other kids, I got a call from Erica Boone, who's the assistant principal. And she said, I hate to tell you this, but Reginald was protecting a younger kid. And there was a drive-by shooting in Cornwallis Apartments, and he was hit protecting a little neighbor who was 6 years old. And I understand the concern around implementation of technology and working with private companies and whatever the other arguments are. So I understand that we don't necessarily agree on this. But I think what we're asking for is just a chance to give this a shot. And for me, I'm not a cheerleader in ShotSpotter. I'm a cheerleader. Any damn thing is going to stop us from killing each other.